Jainandalala, Madhiyoli Charanam. Today we are going to continue on our Thiruvannamalai journey. We'll go to the inner roots of it and understand the meaning of this hill, this mountain. There are deeper meanings to it. So many poets and learned sadhus and siddhars have come to this place. And why was this like a magnet? And let's focus on that inner meaning of this beautiful mountain and hill. Now, when first siddhar that I think of, first poet that I can think of is Manikyavasagar. When it comes to Tiruvannamalai, he had composed the Tiruvampavai. It's a beautiful set of poetry, songs, and it's sung during the Margari Masam. When we say Margari Masam, we remember Andal and Lord Vishnu. But Margari Masam is also for Lord Shiva. When you go to Shiva temples in anywhere in Tamil Nadu, the Tiruvampavai is sung. It's very, very popular. Manikyavasagar's Tiruvampavai is sung in all the temples during the Margari Masam especially. Now, in the first verse of this Tiruvampavai, Manikyavasagar says that he's talking about the column of light, Lord Shiva, where there is no end, beginning. We went through that when we spoke about how he came and showed himself as the column of light to Lord Vishnu and Lord Brahma, showing them the truth through the light, enlightening them. It's basically not enlightening them, but enlightening us through them as instruments. These stories always have a deeper meaning for us. What do we get from it? Just the outer layer being, oh, Brahma and Vishnu were debating, and then Vishnu won, Brahma lost, he lost one head. No, there's more to it. There is much more than just that small story. Now here in Manikyavasagar says, he explains how beautiful and enormous this light was. He says the top part, Tirumudi, is beyond space. Now we have to understand how enormous this is. You can't measure it. So when I say this goes into space, what is space? What is space? NASA can only photograph until a point. The cameras can only capture up to a point. Space is space. That's it. I cannot give you that in words. There is no word in the dictionary to explain what space is. So when he says the Tirumudi is beyond space, can you even picture that? No, none of us can even picture that. And then he says the Padam is below Patala Lok. Even that is, you cannot even understand that. A common person, a common man cannot understand that. That's how enormous this Lord showed himself to Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu. Being the Lord themselves, they couldn't find his Tirumudi or his father. They couldn't find it. Could they? No. They traveled so many years to find the Tirumudi. Brahma traveled so many years. And Vishnu traveled so many years to find his padam. None of them were successful. No trace. That is how enormous, beyond words, beyond imagination, beyond all measurements in height, width, and depth is the Lord. Just take that moment and think about that and kind of try to digest that fact that we can't understand how huge he is, what he is capable of. Now that Lord, that's where Manikyavasakar explains this incident, and he has started the beautiful Thiruvambavai with that first line. Adiyum andamum illa arumperum jodiyai jodiyai nyam pada. So Adiyum andamum is what? No beginning, no end. He's talking about the Jyoti. He says, I sing in praise of this beautiful Jyoti which has no beginning, no end. Talking about the Lord in Thiruvannamalai, the way he showed himself to Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu. Now that Lord, just giving you this idea and telling you the truth. Now that Lord, he comes down. He comes down to our level, where we can see all the measurements. We look at a friend and say, oh, you put on weight. Oh, you've lost weight. And we see their kids and say, oh, you've grown taller. To our level, where we can see all measurements, height, weight, wrinkles. From that level where there is no measurement to this level where there is measurement. He has come down to our level where we can relate to him. We can see him. That much power he has compressed to a human body. So Manikyavasakar is overwhelmed. And he's praising this Lord who has come down to our level, and he was sitting under the tree waiting for him. Manikyavasakar didn't call him. He was just yearning for a guru. While he was working. Who was Manikyavasakar? Just to give you a little brief summary of who Manikyavasakar is. He was an ordinary Kshatriya. He was in the Pandya kingdom, very learned, very well educated, well versed in all shastrams, philosophies, So he was so well learned that they say, right, if you are well read, it spreads like fire those days. So the king came to know. He himself came and he picked Manikyavasakar as that was his name. His name was Vadavoorar was his name. And he came and picked Vadavoorar and said, you will be the prime minister for my kingdom. He was just 16 years old. Think about it. Just think about that kid. 16-year-old is a kid. He attained so much of power at such a young age, a position which we can't imagine. Prime Minister of a kingdom, Pandya kingdom, right? All that said and done, this kid was yearning for a guru. Inside, he didn't say it out. Inside. After all, the Lord Shiva is also Dakshinamurti, Adi Guru. Wouldn't he understand? That yearning. For that yearning, this Lord, who had no measurement, absolutely no measurement, came down, sat under a tree for Manikyavasakar, waiting for Manikyavasakar to pass by. Why was Manikyavasakar there? He was there to buy horses. The king had told him there are very high quality horses in the Chola Empire. You should go and pick those horses and come. He gave him so much money to buy the horses. He needs money. So he sent the prime minister, Vadavoorar, with a lot of money, go buy horses. While he was there, he was passing by, he heard the sweet chanting. What is the sweet chanting? Hara, 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 hara. I caught his ears. Everything. It seemed like the mind stopped, our mind is jumping everywhere. We know our mind, right? Now, Vadavoorar also has a very normal mind. He's a normal human being. As a prime minister, he'll have so many things in his mind. So when he heard the sweet chanting, his mind stopped. Full stop. Nothing, no activity. State of bliss. Forgot who he was. Forgot where he was. Forgot the main purpose of him going there to that place. Now they say, right? Amma always says, Urugi, Urugi, Arano. Yengano. What does that mean? You have to yearn. You have to literally stir up your emotions and yearn for the Lord. Only then he'll come. You may say how heartless he is. But no, I'll come to that point later. Well, he was drawn to the chanting. Manikyavasakar, back to him. He's drawn to the chanting and he saw the Lord sitting in the form of a yogi under a tree. Now, where is this place? Tiruperundurai. We have talked about this when we spoke about Manikyavasakar. So, you can always go back to that session and listen to it. It's Manikyavasakar. It has part 1 and part 2. I've talked about it in detail about this place. So this is Tiruperundurai, where the Lord is sitting under a tree in the form of a yogi and chanting. Manikyavasakar had this magic, It seemed like something just pulled him there. And he went and he fell at the yogi's feet. What did he come there to do? Did he come there to fall at the yogi's feet? Did he come there in search of the guru? No, he came there to buy horses. But he landed up falling in the yogi's feet. And because of that yearning, he pleaded that the yogi take him as his disciple. See what the Lord does, huh? When the time comes, he pulls you in. Here, the yogi didn't even have to say, I'm your guru. Nothing. That maturity was already given to him. After all, who is he? Manikyavasakar, right? So that maturity was also already there. He recognized who that was. He just didn't know at that time. He knew. He knew something was there. That's why he went and fell and he said, I want to be your disciple. Please take me as your disciple. The Lord obviously immediately said, okay. And he gave him Shiva Jnanam right there. And the first thing he said is, build a temple for me. Build a temple here for me. That is the Avudayar Kovil, built by Manikyavasakar in Tiruparandurai. So that is the Avudayar Kovil that he built with what? What did he have? He had the money the king gave to buy the horses. He used that to build a temple. What guts, you must think. But yeah, for him, his guru is what matters. My guru told me to build a temple here for Lord Shiva, and that is what I'm doing. Simple, no? How simple is that? Listening to the guru. That's what mattered to him. Now, that is Manikyavasakar to tell you in a small, brief thing, Now, let's go to how the Lord, what we're talking about here is how the Lord comes there at that time to pick you up and take you to the next journey. Now, Manikyavasakar was Vadavura until the Lord came, showed up there, and him falling at his feet. And what happened to Manikyavasakar? Without his knowledge, he started singing. He started singing the Lord's praises when he saw this yogi, the Lord in the form of a yogi. And then he yearned for the Lord. His praises showed that he yearned for the Lord, and it was so beautiful, like gems, that he earned the name Manikyavasakar from the Lord himself. So the Lord named him Manikyavasakar at that time, and told him to build a temple. So the Lord of the Lords, who had no measurement, coming at that time just to lift the devotee up, just to give him that platform, getting him in the next path, next journey. Same thing with Vallala Maharaja. Last session we spoke about that, where he was yearning for a child. He does not have children. And the Lord comes and, as a baby, right? And then when they wondered where the baby came from, he just disappears and there's a voice heard that was me. Lord Shiva says, that was me. I came as a baby. Because you both hugged me as a baby, I'm your child. So it's my responsibility to do your last rites. What a beautiful thing. Huh? Again, the Lord who has no measurements at all, comes and sits on her lap as a baby. How this is like, take a moment and think about it. Just think about that. It'll definitely melt your heart. The king was wanting a child, and the Lord himself comes as his child. Huh? என்ன புண்ணியம் பண்ணியிருக்கணும், we'll say. What good things he would have done, what punya he would have done to gain that kind of a boon. And that too, even till today, every year, the Lord goes from Thiruvannamalai to perform his rite. It's still there. The ceremony is still done. Why? Because the Lord gave his word. The Lord gave his word, I will come and do your final rites every year. I will do it. He'll make sure it's done. How kind he is. The same Lord that Lord Vishnu or Lord Brahma couldn't find. They couldn't find his head or his padam. For his devotees who are in human form, he comes down to our level. Even Ramana Maharishi, right? He has mentioned the same incident to one of his followers, his devotees, his disciples, whoever you want to call it as, mentioning the same incident of Manikyavasagar and tearing up. Because the extremes are so much that they just don't seem to come to an understanding, right? It's an extreme. The Lord who cannot be found. And here he is, available for his disciples, his devotees, his loved ones. Because that is important. Now, when we say Pancha Bhoota Sthalam or Pancha Bhootam, what are they? Earth, water, fire, sky, wind, air, right? Wind or air. So these are the Pancha Bhootams. Very similar to our five senses. Very similar to our five senses. Now when we say our body, right? Shariram, what our body is, our raw material. When we say what makes this body livable, it's through our five senses. Five senses make the body's raw material. is the five senses. We need these five senses to function. Now, in Tirumandiram, Thirumoolar says that all these panchabhootams, they asked for a temple. Now, all these panchabhootams, they went and asked the Lord for a temple to live in, for shelter, and to worship. It's like a temple to worship. Kovil. Kovil is what? Meaning the place where the Lord resides. That's what Kovil means. Now, so what they did was they sought a body. They went and found a body. A Panchabhutangal, they found a body. Now, when we talk about which body and all that, it's karmas, right? Pertaining to karmas, the body is formed. Previous janma, what we did, the next janma, what we are going to be. It could be a horse, a lion, or a human being, or a cow. Doesn't matter. So it depends on what you were in the previous life and your karmas. You get your next body in the next life, right? So to be a human being is like we have done so many good things to be born as a human being. So we have to always remember this. We have the ability from this space to reach the Lord directly. That's the power of a human being. It's very, very, we have done a lot of punyas to come here. A lot of us, what we do, we don't realize it and we go back again to being not a human being and then coming all the way again. It's a never ending cycle, you know. If you want to end the cycle from human being, reach the God. Do whatever needed to get to the destination. So all these panchabhootams, they get the body and they start functioning. All their responsibilities, right? So the ears, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the touch, all these are the five senses, right? The body functions well only if all the five senses work efficiently. Now we are guided by it all throughout the day. Correct? Without the five senses, it's very difficult. Just like now, after all the body is found and all the panchabhutams have all come and settled, the five senses have settled in, who enters the body? The Lord. The Lord enters the body because it's a kovil. Didn't the five senses ask for a temple? So the Lord enters. Now, how does the Lord enter? To give you an example, let's give an example of a mother. When a mother goes out, she has some, responsibility. She has to go out. Obligation, let's say. Let's say Navaratri invite. Hmm? She goes, she takes the haldi kumkum, and then they'll say, stay for some more time. She'll say, "No, I have to go. No, I have to go home because my son will be waiting for me. My daughter will be waiting for me. They'll be searching where I am. They'll be looking out for me. I have to go." And she runs back home. Correct? The same way the Lord runs back to this body. This is the temple. Yeah, just digest that. So the same way the Lord runs back to this body. That is how pure this body was when it was formed. With the Lord residing in it. That is why they say, no, the kids are so innocent. Children are always very innocent, right? When you see a child, he smiles. She smiles at everything, even to an evil person. She doesn't know the person is evil or bad or nice or good. The child will smile at everyone. And the smile is from here. It comes from here. And that's why they say Korandayam Devamum Unnu. That is, they say God and the child are one. Because you see God in a child. Because the God is residing in it. The minute the body is formed, the Lord is there. Just like I said, how a mother goes back running to her house to be with her child, the Lord comes and resides here. So we have the Lord inside us. That's what Ramana Maharishi says, Why are we looking out for him? We have him here. In this temple. This body is a temple. So we have to make sure we keep it clean. How do we keep it clean? Now we see all the temples are being cleaned, right? Everywhere temple, they clean the temple, they keep it neat, the sanctum, especially the Lord's place, we keep it so clean, we purify it, we clean the Lord, Abhishekam, so much is done, right? What do we do for our temple? What do we do here for this? How do we keep it clean? By controlling our five senses, by keeping it in check, by keeping it in control, keeping it in the leash. How do we keep it in the leash? There's Mahatma Gandhi, right? He gave us an example by posing these three monkeys, no? With one closing the ears, the mouth, and the eyes, three of them. A lot of them asked, why monkeys? I mean, is it a message for monkeys or for humans? It's a message for us through monkeys. But why monkeys? Because our mind is unfortunately like the monkey. It keeps jumping here and there. There's no prediction. You can't predict what's going to happen. Right? So even Adi Shankara, he gave the example of a monkey as our mind is a monkey, he says. Adi Shankara said our mind is a monkey. If the mind controls all the senses, then gone. We have to control all the senses. We have to control all the senses. We have to control our mind, and that way we control all our senses. Now, when we say, for example, we are in a yoga class, let's say we are in a yoga class and the teacher says, close your eyes. Close your eyes for 2 minutes straight. Don't look at anything. And then, of course, we hear a noise somewhere and then We have to look, right? We look like this with a small, we just open little bit and we look. Why do we look? Because the mind tells us, open your eyes a little bit, just a little bit and look. And we fall prey to it and we open our eyes. The mind is telling us to open. What if we say, no, I'm not going to open? And we have defeated our mind and continue closing. That's defeating the mind. That's how you defeat the mind and control your senses. Now your sense, that is your eyes, are in your hands. You have the remote control. Same with the ears, right? You're in a party and you hear someone gossiping. Very interesting topic. And the mind will tell you, oh, go sit closer. Now you can hear a little bit better, Go sit closer. Yeah. So we'll slowly go sit closer because it's such juicy news, right? And we fall prey. The same way, if we say no, that's none of my business, and sit there, you've controlled your ears, your sense. The mind is defeated. So this has to be done on a regular basis, every day. The five senses have to be controlled so that you recognize the Lord inside. If you don't control these five senses, then you won't even know the Lord is residing inside. To awaken that, to awaken the Lord who's inside, to take care of the temple, you have to control all the senses. All the five senses have to be controlled. They have to be in your control, not in the mind's control. Controlling the mind, controlling the five senses, all this for our temple. So that our journey, we can reach our destination, the Lord's lotus feet, waiting for us so easily. Once we control the five senses, we can reach the Lord's feet. Now, Thirumoolar says, the body is the temple, the inside is the sanctum. The mouth is the gopuram, he says. How beautiful. I mean, think about it. The mouth is the gopuram. Why is the mouth gopuram? When we are traveling to a temple, let's say going to Sri Rangam or Meenakshi Koval, from very far off, right? Or even Tiruvannamalai. Why all this? Let's say Tiruvannamalai. When we are going to Tiruvannamalai, we see the hill, right? We see the hill first and then we see the gopuram. All these temples I mentioned are visible from far in the road, when you're coming through the highway, you can see the gopuram. It draws you towards the temple. Anga gopuram is there. I can see it. So those days, when there was no roads, that was the landmark. Just walk towards the gopuram. So they just kept walking, looking at the Gopuram, they kept walking. Why is the mouth the Gopuram? Because when we sing praises, when we talk about him, when we sing his praise, everyone is drawn to you, including the Lord. Just like you get drawn to the Gopuram, everyone is drawn to you because you're singing the Lord's praises, speaking good things, sweet things, positive things. The mouth is such a important thing, you know. It can be used as a very positive weapon. So the mouth is the pathway to our temple. This is the temple, right? So this is the Gopuram. This is the pathway to our temple. So when we sing his praises, we are getting closer to him. When we are talking his praises, we're getting closer to him. See how beautifully he has brought it out. The analogy is so beautiful. Hmm? And it's true. It is true. This is exactly what Ramana Maharishi also would say, has said all throughout, that his Lord is here. Because in the later stages, he could not visit the Tiruvannamalai temple because he would go in disguises, you know, because he doesn't want to be recognized. He wants to be with the Lord, but then somehow or the other, they would recognize him. I believe one time he put a, you know, um, tilagam and he covered his body and he went inside. One of the priests recognized him. Swami, you're here. Oh, he's come in the form of Lord Krishna today. It's so auspicious. In Thiruvannamalai, Lord Krishna has come. So they were so happy he came in that form. And they were. Now he didn't get the peace time with the Lord, right? So he couldn't go to the temple. He was telling a devotee, I'm not able to go to the temple. People don't leave me in peace. They start doing namaskaram to me. While I want to be with the Lord, I'm not getting that. So this is my temple. This Lord is here. And this is what he said. The concept is the same. And it's so beautiful when you think about it. So when you use these five senses efficiently, the inside is our Shiva Lingam, he said. Wow, beautiful. So beautiful. Now, after we use these efficiently, if the body is our temple, right? Don't we need to light a lamp? Lamp is lit in the temple. Hmm? So what are the lamps? The five senses are the lamps. Pancha Arati Mari. Huh? five senses are the lamps for him. See, if all the five senses are working together efficiently, they all come together and they are like inside that sanctum that we have here. The Lord is happy. That blissful state. That state is, I can't explain it. It's bliss, that's all. Of course, the most challenging thing is to keep the five senses in check. That's the most challenging. We all know that, don't we? It's not easy to keep them in check. Now, when we see what the lessons we learned from all these devotees that we have spoken about, let's say Manikyavasagar, what are the lessons we learned from this? All of these things that we discussed in Tiruvannamalai, what are the lessons? From Manikyavasagar, we learned that he took a big turn. His life took a on the other side, right? He was a prime minister and he became a sadhu, right? Other side of the pole, going in another direction. He could 1 minute he could sit and think, right? Because his world went upside down. His king was after him to capture him, and of course he got captured and all that. You can read Manikyavasakar's story. It's pretty adventurous. But he, as a normal human being, could have thought at some point in this journey, I was a normal, ordinary person. I was leading a simple life. I was leading a very normal, peaceful life until this yogi came into the scene. And now I'm landed in the prison. He could have sat there and thought that and cursed the situation or cursed whatever decisions he took and yearned for his life back. Right? Who does anyone like to be captured by the king and put in the prison? Asking, where's the horses? Where are the horses? Why did you build the temple? Where's my money? Treating him like a thief for a situation like that, of course, yeah. Everybody will think he's a thief, right? See what situation the Lord put him in, huh? But did he one time think, why did you put me in this situation? Never. Never once he thought. That is something, right? So many lessons we get to learn from this. Not once he said or blamed the Lord. I was always with you. I was always doing for you. Why did you do this? எவ்வளோ நம்பிக்கை அவன் மேல வச்சிருந்தேன். இப்படி பண்ணிட்டே. It's the usual dialogue, okay, in Tamil. I just wanted to throw it there. No, he didn't say all that. What about the Maharaja? Let's say the Vallala Maharaja, okay? He wanted a child. The Lord came for a moment, just a moment. He came as a baby, where the queen hugged and the king also hugged him. And then he disappeared. The king could have thought, I wanted a baby. You just come for a few seconds and then you go. I still don't have a baby. He could think, right? still his desire was not fulfilled. He could have thought that. But no, he understood that the immeasurable Lord came down and in the form of a baby and sat in their lap. That was what was in his mind the whole time. That was what was overwhelming the whole time, not any other aspect. He can always question the Lord. We can always question. Questions are so easy to throw at, It's like just throw a question. It's easy. But to count the blessings is so hard. You need a mature mind to count the blessings and to understand what the Lord is doing from his point of view. Of course, you can understand everything, but if you understand that he's doing it for your own good, every measure, every plan is for our good. We'll have no question. The worst story among all this is Arunagirinathar, which I didn't mention today, but think about this. He left his body there to go get the Parijata flower to cure the king of his blindness. To come back, he went as a parrot, right? Dropped the body there. He kept the body there in the mandapam of the Lord. Doesn't the Lord know this? Of course he does. When he came back, Samandandar had already burnt the body. Any devotee would ask, right? Lord, you put me in this situation. Couldn't you have guarded my body? Now I don't have a body. I am stuck with a parrot body. No, he didn't ask. For him, the body did not matter. Which body or any of those things did not matter. As long as he can think about the Lord, all these exterior things did not matter to Arunagiri. He still sung his praises as a parrot. That is what the Lord wanted to show us. He didn't stop him from singing as a parrot. He still sang. These are big lessons we have to learn. A body was snatched from Arunagiri. Can you imagine that? Huh? We are so attached to our name. If someone spells our name wrong, we'll go and tell them this. We're so into us. I is so much. See, with Arunagiri, that I is gone. Identity is wiped. That is what Ramana says, right? The I needs to go. That needs to go away. If somebody asked him, how can I be like you? To Ramana Maharishi. And that's a very, I find it a very, not a proper question at all to people like Ramana Maharishi or anybody in that path, I want to be like you. Those things just happen. It's not a becoming thing. It's given to them. It's thrown at them, whether they want it or not. They didn't go ask for it. When you read about Ramana, right? He didn't ask for this. Did Manikyavasagar ask for this? No. None of them asked for this. It was thrown at them. So when you ask for it, when you ask a person, I want to become like you. No, I think you be your good best self. Work on that self. You cannot become like someone. So what did he say though for the reply? To reply to his disciple, he says, you have to walk in my path, he said. So what did this disciple do? She kept walking behind. He kept walking behind. The disciple kept walking behind Ramana's footsteps. So the other person who saw this said, what are you doing? So that person said, no, Bhagavan said, I have to walk in his path. So I'm walking in his path. So Ramana, Bhagavan explained to him, the person, that walking in my path is not walking in my footsteps. See where I came from the beginning, where I shed my body, where I shed my eye. I don't have an eye. Go there and come, he said. That is what I meant by walking in my path. So what is the key here? The eye. The eye needs to go. Then you'll find that self, the self with the capital S. That's what Amma said. இந்த self இல்ல, capital S இருக்கு இல்லையா, அந்த self. Not the self, the one with the capital S. Find that self, he said. Same thing. All of them say the same thing. We just have to figure it out. We have all the answers, though. We have everything. It's just a matter of coming together and putting all the senses in control. And that is what is this Pancha Bhootams. The concept, I think we got to know today, which all of them understood, all the disciples and devotees of the Lord, the 9 Mars, all of them had these 5 senses in control. The Lord of the 5 senses. Pranams to Lord Shiva, Tiruvannamalai, Annamalai. Madhiyoli Charanam, Jayanandalal.